Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Backcast, the podcast component of the Backlog, where we talk about just video games and whatever else happens to be on our mind. Weebishness in general.
Get hyped.
I'm Dan, joined by Joe.
I am Joe.
Hello, Joe.
How's it going, Dan?
Oh, it's all right. You know, how's it with you?
I've been busy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been actually gaming, and E3 just happened, so there's been lots of news.
You don't say E3, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. This is totally not just the obligatory E3 podcast.
It's absolutely that.
Okay. That's why it's obligatory.
We have to. It's E3 happened. Cool
Okay.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Cool stuff we saw.
Well, you had not yet seen the Devolver Digital press conference. Prior to us sitting down, I'm
Yes.
like, I knew I had a feeling you wouldn't have, because it was kind of below the radar. It was 20 minutes of satire. I would say biting satire.
Very much so, and it was very well done.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Quite entertaining. If you haven't seen the Devolver Digital,
look it up.
You should look it up right now.
It's fantastic. Maybe this will be the first time we ever link to something in our
maybe.
Don't expect it. We're not going to link to it.
We suck at that, and but that conference was crazy.
Yeah, and amazing. But the most amazing thing, well, there's two things. We'll very briefly. My friend Pedro, which looks like a bullet time gun kata simulator.
I don't even know what to say about that game.
It looked amazing.
It looks crazy.
It looks like a hot mess. That's like everything is going off the rails constantly, and that's what makes it look kind of amazing.
Oh yes.
But bullet time and gun kata and
Definitely want to keep an eye on.
Yes. Kicking decapitated heads into other enemies to
weird stuff.
Ricocheting bullets off of things to
But mostly that conference as a whole was really the thing to see, just because it's crazy.
But the reason I made you I wanted to set up that context for the last game that they showed, which is Metal Wolf Chaos.
Yes.
Which is a FromSoft mech game from 2004 that never made it to the United States. That's what I understand, or it was on the Xbox. I'm still unsure of what it was, but it never really made it over here. I want to think, but it was, but it got an English dub,
which sounds cool.
Yeah, but it's like a kind of a send up of 2004. So like the Bush White House, in that the vice president is named Richard, and he's an evil bad guy who steals a mech, and so you have to use the presidential mech to.
It looks insane for sure.
But
I wish we got to see a little bit more.
Absolutely.
In the trailer.
Yeah, me too. So they're remastering it, leaving the old voice acting in, but because it's so over the top. But that they're doing an
super
up-res.
Campy. Yeah.
Yeah, the graphical up-res. And I mean, should we mention the website? I think we have to.
It's kind of the punchline.
The punchline was the website to find out about it is Mech America Great Again, which was the way it hits on that press conference is
impressive.
You're just like, wow, this is, whoo, man.
And in the context of that,
a presidential mech shooter
that show that they are putting on is pretty impressive.
Like they end their satire show with, hey, here's this game that paved the way for current American politics, I think they said. Something like that. And anyway,
it's great.
And then here's a presidential mech shooter.
Another one I will be waiting for.
Right.
It seems so crazy.
Look forward for that later this year, I guess, is when it's supposed to come out. Anyway, I'm excited as well, even though I have no clue about it.
It's true. There's really not a lot there, but it looks just crazy enough.
Right.
It looks crazy enough.
That's Devolver Digital's catalog. Is like, let's just crazy enough.
Yeah.
But
R.I.P. Dave Lang.
Oh, so good. And then was it check it? What is it?
Check a look. Hashtag check a look.
Check a look.
Man, what a treat that was.
Yeah.
After all of the other just kind of boring press conferences, Sony's was just interesting. But
standard press conferences, and you know what you're going to get. To have something that's like, oh, you don't know what you're about to get.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was
And it just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the credits start rolling, don't turn it off. It still goes.
Yeah, there's a few more parodies that they have to work in.
Yeah, they gotta cram in a bunch of stuff.
Well, speaking of more stuff crammed in, Joe, tell me about The Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2, I showed it off at the weird Sony conference where they were...
They put you in a tent and then move you out of the tent?
A church. That they had a tent church thing that they built and were shepherding people between different rooms, but only for the first.
Only Last of Us. We're going to show you in a church.
Then they ushered them off to another
really,
thing.
that seems a bit presumptuous. Being this is your new god. Here's Last of Us 2. Okay, now to the regular conference.
Yeah, and it was a weird presentation, but Last of Us 2 looks really interesting. Graphically speaking, it is definitely really impressive. I was a little bit disturbed at times when there's a part where a dude gets disemboweled. I'm sure you saw.
Yes.
Very graphic. I was like, oh, geez, that looks really good.
I think that's kind of Naughty Dog's kind of going down that so the Walking Dead route of yes, but how savage can we make people?
How savage can we kill people?
Like how savage can we make this to make? We want people to feel uncomfortable playing our video game.
I'm already kind of like confused. I'm looking forward to this. Let me preface everything I say with that. But it's kind of like, where do you go in a like dystopian world where last time you kind of had a clear goal,
right,
the whole time, and now it's just like Ellie's clearly very much older and the main protagonist of this next game,
right.
And like what's the mission this time around?
What's the big arc?
Yeah. Does she find out the truth and then decides that she needs to like put her immunity out there and see?
I was about to say like I hope it's not about revenge because that would be the cheap and easy way of doing it and would be
revenge.
very. But I'm saying what you just said is like the opposite of that and would be very interesting.
Yeah, like
I need to find someone who can cut open my brain.
Yeah, like something bad probably happens and she just realizes like, oh well, I have no like my. I don't know. I've lost everything I loved. I need to like save the human race. Maybe. I'm just throwing out spitballing stuff.
If we take the tenor of the trailer is a lot of juxtaposition. Here you are, relaxing thing, but you're the monster. You're the thing that people should be afraid of.
Yeah, they did try and I kind of pushed that.
What do you mean try? That was pretty heavy-handed.
I don't know. I didn't care for it. So I was like, whatever.
I mean,
whatever.
It's been done. It's been done.
It has. It was tropey enough that I'm like, okay, fine.
Right.
Like, that's great.
Well, and even going so far as to like re-edit the line. She hears it again at the end.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, okay, just slap me in the face, huh?
They have not been subtle.
No, I mean these are the Uncharted people. Subtlety not necessarily the strong point.
That's subtle.
And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And people love it. So I mean,
yeah, and the game looks great. It just looks really good.
It looks good.
Kind of some interesting new, obviously mechanically speaking, like crawling under cars and some of the way those weapons are working and. The combat seems different enough.
Did they put a date on it yet?
I don't remember. I wasn't paying that much attention.
See, that makes me wonder
Everything
how much...
seems far enough off at this point that I'm like, whatever. I'm not too worried about release dates unless it's coming out this year.
Right.
So,
which, from the way Sony did their press conference, I don't think anything they showed is coming out this year.
No, I think all of it's
like,
next year.
We shot our wad this year, so see you in 2020 sometime.
And yeah, I mean, the rest of the stuff they showed too looked good. It's all
nothing they showed looked bad.
Definitely true.
True. I don't know if I saw anything that I'm like, oh, that looks kind of weird.
Spider-Man was a little rougher than I expected it to be.
Open world game.
Yeah, it definitely had a lot of some of the trappings of an open world, like the jank that comes along with that.
Which is funny because because more games have become open world games that's become less acceptable. There was a time when you're like
very much so.
Where you're like, yeah, that horse teleported through that building, and you're like, it's an open world game. Would be the like, what did you expect?
Yeah,
of course it's all falling apart all the time.
Perfect everything,
right? And
so I mean, I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so depending on. It's not one I'm going to jump on immediately, but if it starts getting some good buzz, I may pick that up.
I never played any of the Spider-Man games.
They've been historically bad,
but I remember everybody was it the Spider-Man 2 for the PS2
yeah,
Spider-Man or whatever?
There was one that people look back on fondly.
That say this is the one,
whatever. Like it's. If you can, if the swinging physics are good and the combat is fun, it'll be fine.
Was that what it was? Because it was the Spider-Man that Neversoft did, the Tony Hawk guys.
Sounds right.
And so the swinging, the movement mechanic was good, and the rest didn't really matter. Yeah, people really loved it.
It's just that's all you'd want in a Spider-Man game. You want to swing around on webs and do cool stuff.
And it had a fairly representative New York for you to Manhattan for you to dink around in.
Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah. Other than that, like. The other stuff looked good, like I said. Death Stranding, it's fine.
We don't know enough.
We know nothing about that game. It just looks weird.
The jokes of Amazon Delivery Man,
but of course it's not going to be that. It's going to be.
But Hideo Kojima, it might just be.
It might be that, yeah. And if it is, cool, bring it on.
I mean, there's a shot of you transporting a body.
Yeah. yeah, I think it looks interesting, and the
But you have to
weird trailers that are out there like seem like, I don't know if it's like I did catch during some of the interviews and stuff that were going on that combat in that game will be incredibly discouraged.
Yeah, well,
It seems like it's going to be a pretty like you're going to go hard on the stealth and
Yeah.
try not to get caught.
Interesting.
'Cause if you have to fight something, it's probably going to be rough.
It's going to be real bad.
I don't know how bad. We'll see. Again, like we literally saw, a little bit more of a crazy Kojima trailer, and then Norman Reedus running around carrying
Reedus
stuff.
I love that some of the fans have called this game Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus.
And the Funky Fetus.
Such a great name. Anyway,
I listened to that band.
Yeah, right.
Sounds great.
But except for when they go on the 20-minute like drum solos in there, it's really weird.
I mean,
it sounds like a jam
there's
band.
only so much banjo that I can stand. So
You take that back. Wow, gosh! But what I love about is I love watching the fandom for the game, for Death Stranding.
I think fandom's ruining everything nowadays.
but
proceed.
But here's the thing: is because Kojima is reciprocating and giving them the things that they're looking for.
Okay,
Like apparently there is a code hidden in the gal's necklace.
weird.
Like it's all like it's a dot pattern thing, and so the fan base is trying to decipher it. I think Kojima's like, "Oh yeah, there's totally a code there."
Is this
And,
ARG?
I think he deserves his fans, and his fans deserve him. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
One of the things that I don't know if I say exciting for, but I am totally going to pick it up and play again, is Tales of Vesperia. They felt out of place at the Microsoft press conference. Like, hey, here's a big anime segment in the middle of this.
That was a little weird.
with an anime pop song
I
playing.
still have never played a Tales game, so I'm curious.
And
Vesperia looks good, and it's a remaster, right?
it is. It's an up-res. And here's the thing: is there's also also the PS3 version that only released in Japan, that had I think one or two extra characters and some side stuff
Okay.
added into
And
it.
Vesperia, I mean, it looks good.
Well,
The up-res looks good.
what I like-
and some of the other,
Yeah.
the more recent Tales games that I've seen, I've been kind of
Look at
intrigued
you.
by.
Well,
They look really good.
I think Vesperia has helped that because I played Tales of Symphonia, which was before that, and was
That is a Tales game I have heard the title of.
it's a fairly it felt fairly straightforward as JRPGs go.
Okay.
The combat system was unique. Vesperia did something very, very different, where you have situations where it's like, okay, your anime tropes are happening, but your main character decides, no, screw that. We have the encounter with the villain. He gets away. Everyone is back at the inn being dejected. He sneaks off on his own and straight vigilante murders them, the bad guy.
Wow.
And this keeps happening because he's like, oh no, I guess I got to be the bad guy. I got to break the rules. But I refuse to let this happen. And so you have a vigilante character underneath the regular the anime style happenings.
How old is that game? When did it originally come out? You said PS3?
It was 360 was the
360.
was the American one, the one that made it over here.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, 08, maybe 09.
Okay, so it's been a little while.
But the Tales games since then, from what I've seen, like Tales of Berseria, looks like they lean oh no, we need to have that little bit of dark stuff kind of coming in.
And that one does look cool. That's kind of one that I would have kind of wanted to check out.
So I think that
Now, are these Final Fantasy like in that they are different stories every time, or
Yes.
are you dealing with the same character?
No.
Okay.
Well, I think they made a sequel. They when they do make sequels, they sometimes make sequels.
I mean, Final Fantasy also made sequels.
Right, but they're all kind of their
generally
own
speaking,
one-offs.
they're pretty much their own thing.
Yeah. So, and the combat system itself is unique. It's kind of instead of the turn-based thing, when it drops
It
into
does
the random
look a little
battle,
more actiony.
it is absolutely actiony.
Yeah.
It is all one-to-one controls.
Okay, that's
so
cool. I dig that.
You can time your blocks, and you can just straight up move and attacks miss you. And it's a very interesting system. You have MP for your special attacks, but when you land hits, just regularly basic attacks hit people, that builds your meter back up.
Okay.
So you can kind of
very actiony. That's cool.
It is, so you can keep casting your real powerful spells, and you can combo them. And I'm going to hit the mic stand. As you use them, you learn more advanced versions of them that will lead into.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very actiony, and it encourages you to use your stuff. It's very good. So as our monitor falls asleep here, man, just not prepared for it today. Let's talk.
Okay. It's okay.
All we've seen is just a snippet of gameplay, going from stuff that I know very well to stuff that I know very, very little of. What do you think of Devil May Cry 5, Joe?
I am really excited since we're currently playing DMC,
Right.
and having a very similar looking like play style for this DMC. Not the same Dante. It's back in the old Devil May Cry.
This is 5 sequel Dante, not DMC.
This is a proper sequel, not DMC.
Yeah.
So it looks rad. This weird biker main character protagonist guy that is he from?
He's 4. He's a guy
from 4. I never played 4.
What they show in the trailer, it's the kid from 4 who had the demon arm. He has a demon arm, and that plays into 4. In the trailer on this, you see his arm getting violently removed
off,
by someone, and so this weird redneck scientist lady,
redneck engineer, in her Winnebago,
and her
designing robot arms.
It seems like she's trying to go for the underboob, but not quite go full under. Anyway,
it's weird.
She builds him a robot arm,
and it looks like multiple throughout the trailer.
Yeah, you can. So there's your upgrade path.
Yeah.
But you could shoot it off and do like stun moves and like it.
Basically, all of the
hooks.
DMC moves, but now it's just a robot arm instead of different demon and angel weapons.
Right now, are you gonna have tech mode, demon mode, angel mode?
Yeah, that's gonna be a good time.
They're gonna have to add another trigger on there for you to not to juggle around.
Seriously, like it's like a pack in with the game. You just get this extra trigger that you have to plug into your charge port.
It's like a guitar setup where you have foot pedals, and so you could you have all 3 modes, but you're foot pedaling it.
Oh man, no, the part that I actually like, I was in as soon as I saw him rev his sword.
Yeah,
that's like a motorcycle handle, and he just revs it up, and I'm like, okay, now, man, this game looks ridiculous.
I should mention, I believe that was in 4.
Cool. Awesome. I'm going to go back and play 4.
We should go back and play 4. But yes, the idea of like okay.
Dumb stuff.
But I like 40K chain swords.
It's very quippy and dumb, and
it is the over the top.
I'm really excited to have more of that DMC flow.
It's not just it's not douchebag Dante quipping and everybody's like, dude, this is totally the wrong time. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
wonder.
the colorful. Everyone's trying like who can quip first.
It looks really good. I'm kind of excited just because it sounds so crazy. It's Devil May Cry. Angels and demons and killing stuff. I'm in.
And regular people just trying to live their lives.
Building robot arms.
Yes, and also slow motion like grabbing cigarettes out of the air.
With her mouth.
Yeah, biting cigarettes out of the air. Or what do you
with her mouth as it like. Yeah, it looks so weird.
Yeah,
looks so weird. I'm excited.
And Hobo Dante.
Shows
up at the end, just like woohooing.
Yep, very old man Logan, just kind of like cruising through on his sick bike.
Right. Okay.
Motorcycle status.
So the next one
Okay.
Next one we have in our notes here. I know we're just kind of just ripping through here.
Well, there's so much to talk about. It depends on how much we actually want to deep dive.
Right. Well, you teased me with this, and
a little bit.
I started to ask, and then I said, "No, don't tell me. Save it for the podcast."
Wait, don't tell me.
Wait, don't tell me. Right. So
Kingdom Hearts 3 has been coming for a long time.
In fact, you could say it dominated E3 from sheer volume of trailers.
That's true. Almost every conference had a Kingdom Hearts trailer, slightly different.
I did not watch the Square
Enix version,
or the conference at all.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I don't think
it had more. It had more of the...
Or maybe I did, because that's where they had the Final Fantasy Monster.
Yes, and the Monster Hunter.
I might have skimmed it. Anyway.
Okay. So, it's been a long time since I played Kingdom Hearts. I remembered liking it. I never became the...
Because you were of the age group
I was. It was kind of an ideal perfect storm. I was way into Final Fantasy and then Disney characters. So I was like, oh, cool.
Crouch Strife seems like a cool guy, and I like Mickey.
Mickey's my favorite.
That's a weird time to overlap.
It was a weird little cross-section of pop culture at the time.
I wanted to hear the boardroom conversation. Okay, you know what kids like? Cloud. You know what kids like? Mickey freaking Mouse. All right, stick with it. Stick with me. What we do is we put them on 2 ends of the room and then run together really hard
and see how that shakes out. No, I want to
drop a lot of acid.
I just want to say they had a whole bunch of action figures in a bucket and they just like threw it across the conference table and we're like, "There's your game." like, here you go.
An executive stumbled on his son and went, "It's brilliant.
This is genius." But yeah, anyway, I found it very charming back then. It was kind of interesting in retrospect, and having attempted to play Kingdom Hearts 1 again before my PS3 crashed on me. It's a terrible game. Like, it plays horribly.
I'd say in lore or in what it's trying
gameplay,
to do? Okay,
gameplay.
just gameplay.
Purely gameplay.
Okay.
And so I was a little disillusioned by the just terrible gameplay. And I was like, okay, I can forgive this. I do remember Kingdom Hearts 2 having way better gameplay. But in all of this kind of like hubbub around Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out and just the numerous trailers, each a little different, adding a little bit more here and there, I'm like, what was this? Like, what was this whole game? What are we doing? Why is this such a big deal? Why is everyone freaking out?
Yeah.
I need to remember the story. So I watched all of Kingdom Hearts lore.
Did you watch
I watched lore videos.
Did you watch all the cutscenes?
I watched one that was a compilation of basically every story scene and cutscene. It was long. I'm not gonna tell you
how much of a day did you lose?
I mean, it was over a little while. I kept going back to it. I was like,
I love that you don't want to tell me a number.
I'm not going to tell anybody a number because it is it's too much.
Okay. Okay.
By the end of it, it was too much. I was just like,
you're suffering for your art, and I appreciate that.
I was like, I gotta understand why this is a thing. Like, is it as good as the fanboys that are like drawing keyblades in their notebooks and
Keyblade? That's right. I forgot about the Keyblade.
It's got some dumb stuff. Kingdom Hearts.
Well, and like, isn't your main party like Donald and Goofy?
It's you, Donald, and Goofy. Like,
look, I have a fondness for Goofy, but like
all the way down.
All right.
Goofy's kind of your tank character. He's got like a knight.
You're right. Of course,
Donald's a mage. But
sure.
let's be real. It's you as the Final Fantasy character that is like the powerhouse.
Right.
You are the special one. But
of course.
So it's way more anime than I realized. Their whole storyline,
even from the beginning,
even from and this is what was kind of confusing and why I kind of had to go back to it a little bit.
Okay,
people are super fans of this game to an embarrassing level, to the point where they're like sticking everything together chronologically. And since they've gone back and done all of like, they've kind of up-res a lot of the...
Is this like the Hyrule Historia? It doesn't really make sense, but we're going to force it to make sense?
No. It totally does tie together, but it's so convoluted that you need something like this that ties together, like cutscenes from GBA games and into... But since they've done the re-release, the HD remixes of everything, they have up-res all of that, so it's all like pretty good. Visually speaking.
Okay.
You're not watching gameplay from a Game Boy or anything. It's all just like cutscenes and stuff, and it's pretty. I don't know. It's well done. It's Square Enix. Like it's
right.
They don't do shoddy.
There's a polish there.
Yeah, they polish up quite nicely. But because of that, and the way some of these videos were kind of stuck together, I didn't know what game anything was coming from. Like I was just like seeing this whole thing like a feature length film essentially, and it. I'm not going to say it was good by any means.
Good, okay.
But it was like, this is really, really anime in that, like, there's this old guard before your Kingdom Hearts 1 character who are like these three guardians, basically, of these Keyblade powers. And
basically, balance and universal harmony.
Kinda. There's like, it's all about, the shadow and the light, obviously, like the heart and like shadow stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of boilerplate in that, like, it's light versus dark.
Good versus evil.
Yeah, good versus evil. But it's this, like, this guy called the Master of Masters who has an apprentice.
Okay. Of apprentices?
I wish. They didn't go that hard.
They kind of did.
But he has an apprentice, and they have this, like, book of prophecies, essentially.
All right.
Where, like, it just kind of has everything written that's going to happen with this whole thing. And you find out that it's actually his apprentice that kind of gets the ball rolling on this whole book of prophecies.
Okay.
The apprentice isn't allowed to see it because he's the one. Master of Masters tears his own eyeball out, sticks it inside of this Keyblade that he then gifts to his apprentice, and then charges him with training a worthy successor to him.
Okay.
And he's like, this Keyblade now is my eye, so I will be able to see everything that comes after this. And he tasks him
because eyes work that way.
Yeah, he tasked this. It's very fantasy. It's ridiculous. But tasks him with training a successor and allowing him to see throughout time. And we don't really know exactly where that all plays out, honestly. Like, apprentice goes bad, kills people, and Keyblades and stuff. Like, I mean, it's literally just this weird. It's almost impossible to explain now that I'm trying to put words into this, because
you're faltering on stuff, and I'm going this should be pretty straightforward.
It's so dense is the problem.
Does it just kind of up its own butt a little bit?
Oh my, yes.
Okay.
100%. Because they've kind of like duplicated their own tropes in like 3 or 4 different ways
Ooh.
with the way they've come up with the enemies, because like they're supposedly like born out of evil, the heartless or the baseline enemy in Kingdom Hearts. But then as things kind of progress and the ways that people can kind of turn bad in different ways, you also fight nobodies, but it's the same thing.
But
everybody has these like multiple sides to themselves. Like I'm trying to remember the details now. Like if you don't have a heart, you're obviously a heartless. But then if something else happens, you become a nobody. And so you are literally jumping between these weird like split personalities from your main character that they are then trying to like kind of stick back together / use as a vessel for evil.
Okay.
Oh my, it's so bad. I'm like trying to bullet point it a little bit, but then like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
See, you like start half smile and start to kind of laugh and stop yourself. Like, no, I'm not going to say that. Those words are not coming out of my mouth.
I can't like say the things. I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. And that's basically it. And that's what you've been doing this whole time, is you've been trying to kind of like reconcile all of these weird split personality things.
So the thing that happens like in 10 seconds in a Persona game is, oh, this is my true self. I have to accept my shadow. Well, okay, well, I guess I accept you, Shadow.
In Kingdom Hearts, it's way more physical than that. Like they're actually humans with their own memories and their own, like they don't remember that they are actually part of
someone else,
the main character.
Oh, okay.
And there's 2 of them. That are basically these weird like approximations, facsimiles of this kid.
Okay.
One's like a girl version that looks like the little girl you're trying to save in the first one,
okay.
And the other one looks a lot like you in the second game. And they're actually both the same weird like creation of your, I don't know, darkness, but it like takes parts of your heart, essentially, to create these things. And I mean, it's like I said, incredibly convoluted. I spent way too long. I do actually understand all of Kingdom Hearts lore now, and I'm not proud of it.
Because clearly you're very reticent to talk about it, even though
I'm like, oh gosh, like this was way more than I meant to put into it. But anyway,
and we do a part in our Weeb segment, and you're still not. I
can't do it with this.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Much.
That's what I find so fascinating, is that you're just like,
I do love anime and I love weird Weeb stuff, but this is it's just too much.
There's an ironic attachment when it comes to Weeb stuff. You're like, this is dumb, and you can just smile. But this, you're like,
I mean, in the end, it's just a weird amalgamation of like the original apprentice guy has been like taking over people's bodies and like kind of just transferring himself like as he like seeks power, and he has like created I think it's like there's like all this number stuff that goes along with Kingdom Hearts as well. Like there's like so many evil things versus like the 7 pure hearts, and those are represented by all the Disney princesses, and it's so weird.
Well, but since Disney keeps acquiring people, does that number go up?
No, because they kind of like cemented who these like 7 pure lights were in the first game or the second one.
Okay,
so it's just your kind of OG Disney pantheon of princesses. But it turns out like the bad guy and his like 19 or 20 something like copies of himself he has made throughout time.
Yeah,
have now like come together through time to meet up and like attack or something. I can't remember, or to like restore himself back to power. But then they all like ended up getting foiled by you, the main character, and like they all fade back into their respective times. But then like there's also the thing like, well, this is just going to slow us down. It's not, you haven't stopped us; you're just slowing us down
because
like, it's going to happen.
This franchise is still profitable. Yeah. This is going to keep going.
So like, and then they have actually given like a ton more lore with these Kingdom Hearts 3 videos that have come out. Like, so you kind of like, if you know the lore, it's pretty easy to see where the game is going.
Well, I guess, yeah. Like, I know they try to make it look like a big reveal with some chick going all shadow mode or something.
I don't remember that.
Anyway,
from the trailers, I watched a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
Well,
I'm not proud of it.
No,
I'm not proud.
I was just like, this all looks like.
But the game looks great. That game looks like they have kind of made good on. Like the 2 previous mainstream sequels, and are kind of amping up to the next level. It looks like the combat system's way better. I'm actually excited for it again. I'm excited for.
Are you gonna play it?
I will play Kingdom Hearts 3 for sure. After all of the time I put in to figure this lore out, and that's honestly the most disappointing thing about having found out the lore, is like some of the early on apprentices that were kind of defeated by the bad apprentice guy.
Yeah,
they are the goal of this third game is you trying to go back into different areas. Like one of them was trapped in the shadow world, and one of them was his body was taken over by the apprentice guy, and then another one is just locked away inside of his own head somewhere.
Oh,
and I think that's what this Kingdom Hearts 3 is. It's you kind of like bringing everything back around from the original assignment by the Master of Masters.
Okay.
Who is likely just the bad guy that you've kind of been fighting the entire time. It's really weird. It's very anime, and it's not the best anime either. It is pretty
it's
like
your Shonen Jump.
No, I wouldn't even give it that much credit.
Ooh, that's not a lot of credit.
And I don't like Shonen Jump.
No, that's why I brought it up.
It's
I know
a little rough. There's some interesting stuff in there that's kind of cool, but just the gymnastics they've had to go through to try and stick it together like some kind of coherent story
right
has ruined a lot of
and
it.
introducing the newest franchises.
Yeah,
they spent a bit of time on the new Frozen Princess,
and I was so disappointed. I mean, yeah, so it was like, oh, there's a Frozen thing, and that stupid freaking snowman is in that in the game. I almost was like, I'm done, I can't do it.
It looked like Rapunzel or something.
Yeah, Rapunzel, and also Pirates of the Caribbean. I think
right, but a super hyper realistic Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And then like cartoony everyone else. It's
weird, right? Like it looks crazy.
Mr. Depp accepts to be in your game, but he must be as lifelike as possible.
And they have done some interesting things throughout. Like they do have some characters that are kind of pretty standard now, as far as like you've gone to see Hercules like in every game, I think. Because he's
your bro.
And he's like the only person who's ever fallen from godhood, basically, but regained his strength, and that's kind of where you're at as the main character, in that you've lost your power, and you have to like that's why they keep showing you like Hercules stuff in the trailers. Is that's the opening of the third game. Is you have to go find Hercules and try and get your mojo back from Dr. Evil. But
okay.
Yeah, and so they've actually given away quite a bit of what that game is, but at least the first parts, couple parts. It's probably a lot bigger than anything we've seen.
It's probably a very long game.
Yeah, but we've seen some cool stuff. Like the Toy Story world looks rad. And they've done similar things to that. And they already used Tron in Kingdom Hearts 2, sadly. So
they're probably not going to go back.
Not going to get more Tron unless it's the new Tron, like Tron Legacy Tron. Ooh,
I mean
I don't want to get myself excited.
New franchises.
Too many new franchises, though. I think that's what you're going to see mostly. It's going to be mostly the newer, newer moneymakers.
You do realize it now exists that Kingdom Hearts 4 can have Star Wars in it, right?
Ooh. I don't need that.
And by say can, I mean eventually will.
I played Infinity.
It eventually will. Given if the franchise keeps going,
time and opportunity,
and Marvel,
something's going to show up.
It'll be Marvel as well.
I mean, hey.
It's a multiverse game, right? There's a multiverse series going on,
They scrapped all those Infinity assets. They might as well.
I mean, they scrapped all those Infinity assets.
Yeah, they might as well. Bring those into the Kingdom Hearts umbrella.
All the Toys to Life starts working in Kingdom Hearts.
Would be crazy.
But but they never announce it. It just does.
It just does.
Oh, that'd be so good.
That would be wild. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Show what you got. Like, they've done enough with this, and now it's got a weird lore that I understand, and I'm ashamed.
Impenetrable from the outside.
Pretty impenetrable. Like, unless you seek out that kind of explanation video, a very special, like, hey, we went through and took all the story bits and stuck them together. You'll never get through it all. It's so bad. Ooh. Not great games on the Game Boys throughout the years at this point.
The remasters, are they leaving the old combat alone, or are they trying to remaster that as well?
No, it's just an up-res. It's an up-res, and they've done the
unfortunate
all of the story stuff that would have been in the DS games and the Advance or whatever. I can't remember how long ago it was.
Yeah.
But they have put all of the story beats from those games.
So you can play 1, 2, and be ready
do the remixes, and you can get all of the lore out of them, I think. It's my very cursory understanding of that.
I say, like I'm interested. I'm not actually interested.
No, don't worry about it.
No.
Because the only one that even played remotely well was 2, and that's still being generous.
Okay.
Especially by today's standards.
Right, you probably picked up today and went,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was a different time.
Fair enough.
It was a different time.
It's a fair criticism.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put a bow on that one.
Yeah, let's do it, just because I could say more, but I'm just like, oh, man.
You seem like you're annoying yourself here.
I am. I'm like, oh, man. Like, why did I do that to myself? But hey. if you're interested in Kingdom Hearts and want to know more, don't ask me.
For some reason, I wanted to make some
Don't
joke about
ask me.
Get yourself a tasty soy beverage, sit down and watch some YouTube videos.
That's a little harsh, but
Anyway, Final Fantasy XIV has a crossover that they announced.
and this is actually really exciting.
with Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter of all things.
They're like, hey, the Monster Hunter monsters are now in this MMO as like world bosses.
yeah, they were not super clear, but you got
And
to
Palicos.
see and Palicos. Yes, you did get to see
Rathalos.
Rathalos. Yeah. You got to see Rathalos in the trailer, but I mean, it wasn't like a gameplay thing. It was kind of like, hey, check it out. Look at this.
I think
It's
they
Final
showed somebody
Fantasy
running
dudes
up and charging and then hitting
Yeah,
something.
they did. But it was like, it didn't seem like actual straight up gameplay.
Right, but if it's like a raid boss type thing, that's so cool.
I agree, because I need more Monster Hunter in my life.
Well, we've kind of fallen off our Monster Hunter.
Well, it kind of became, it hit that like, you have to be as dedicated as a Japanese person polishing a ball of aluminum foil
Yeah,
to get into that game.
fair enough.
So
Yeah, that's true. And they've added 2 or 3 monsters. And
they have, and I
But
have
I'm also
not
like-
kept up with that even.
But here's the thing: is like, yeah, that monster looks cool, but I already have the gear I like, and there's no reason to keep hunting.
yeah, I think my big beef with their min-max system
Yeah.
is the changes don't feel meaningful enough.
Yes.
And min-maxing just a couple points of stats in one way or another doesn't excite me in a way that would get me back into that game.
I wish there was something in between the super high level tempered Elder Dragon hunting and hey, you beat the game.
Right. They should have paced that part of it out a little bit more.
Right.
And if that was only them just stretching it out a little bit longer or requiring more go kill 10 things missions, I would have been fine with that.
Or a reliable way to get gems or something, because
yeah, the randomness there does kind of shut it down a little bit.
right. And so and the fact that you got to the top end, you're like, oh, the only way you're going to get the good gems is if you hunt the same 3 monsters over and over again. It's like,
That's a little too narrow.
guys,
A little too narrow, yeah.
You know, what about the
And
Great
they weren't
Jaggers?
short. And they weren't short fights.
No,
That was the other thing. It was a commitment to,
or you pug, and that could go real bad.
Yeah. Oh man, Monster Hunter, such a great game.
But it's such a good game.
The end game is a little half baked.
At some point, the PC version's going to come out. Maybe I'll just play through it again on PC.
I was contemplating the other day of starting another character.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to I really enjoyed Monster Hunter. Maybe I should just start over and do it again.
I think that's valid. Maybe say like, okay, now I'm going to play it with this weapon.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to do so. I was going to start and play through with something I've never tried before.
Because I started heavy bowgun and at some point switched to dual blades.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, those are both cool. I don't know what else I would like. Bow.
Yeah. And now I'm pretty proficient with the glaive and hunting horn, so I would probably jump more into something else. Hammer, great sword,
yeah.
something different, something different enough. Maybe the bow, because I never did jump into the range stuff that much.
Bow seemed easy to just kind of spam through, but the nuance of it
nuance
was
rough,
real
yeah.
difficult.
And
yeah.
that's been rebalanced a few times now, so I hope it feels better.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, so it's cool that that's still around.
Yeah, cool that Capcom is doing their Monster Hunter thing and kind of tying it into lots of
Steam
lots of
sales going on
franchises,
right
yeah.
now. Final Fantasy 14's on
Ooh, I
sale.
wonder if we'll get some Final Fantasy tie-ins to Monster Hunter. That'd be cool.
If I had a place I went to for news for Monster Hunter, I'd probably know the answer to that.
It's true. It's true.
Yep.
I want a Cloud Sword. That's really just give me a Cloud Sword. That's great. Great
That
sword.
DMC sword was pretty good.
It was pretty good too.
That
That was really good. But that was a
Rebellion,
charge blade, not a great sword.
Right, sorry. Yeah, but it was it looked
Great. Looked great.
and that you could get a coat.
Well, what else do we want to talk about from beyond E3, sir?
E3, probably the last. Well, let's say the last really big one that people were talking about is the CD Projekt Red, the Witcher guys, finally showed off some kind of, let's say, thematic
footage from
Cyberpunk
2077.
2077.
And it looks rad.
Yeah, the feel of it is like, okay, that's an open world I'd like to just wander around in and get up to no good.
And from what I heard of the behind closed doors tech demo of them, it's got lots of cool hacking stuff and drones and hacking dudes, hacking guns.
What is it? Because you have your deckers, your riggers, I'm talking Shadowrun, which is
okay.
But Shadowrun is a hey, there's fantasy creatures, but it's also cyberpunk.
Yeah. And that's it for anyone who doesn't know. It's like a D&D RPG,
It is, and
but it's a cyberpunk.
well, it's got a couple games on Steam, and there was a Super Nintendo game, and it's been around.
But its real origin story is
It's pen and paper RPG.
Yeah, it's a pen and paper RPG, and it's cool. It's rad.
But you could be like so you have your hackers, but that had like hackers, drone controllers, street samurai, which are your cyborgs.
Yeah.
Which is what the main character kind of looks like in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and they also had magic and stuff. With
you can't do both. Like the more tech you have, the less magic aptitude you had, and anyway,
kind of a cool thing. Cool
Yeah.
lore, and I felt very much like it was thematically very much like Shadowrun.
Yes, very much. There's
Sans
a feel
the
there.
fantasy.
Yeah,
Can't have it all.
no orcs and dwarves just
can't
drinking
have
together.
it all, sadly.
Yeah, so
Maybe someday.
But it looks very cyberpunk and cool. I want more sci-fi stuff in my life.
Definitely.
So I think that's neat.
And lots of neon.
Lots of
so
neon.
much
Lots
neon.
of like everything's wet and dark at night, and you're reflecting the neon,
Very glossy.
flying cars, but like not everything's a flying car.
Your
and
car looks rad too.
yeah, I do like the mix of everything being super run down and also high tech. Like the rednecks using high tech stuff, but it's like real garbagey
Our
high tech.
glorious dystopian future.
Yeah, sure,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
but I mean that game looks great. But from what I understand, also that they were very clear on. Oh no, we have a long way to go on this. So this is like it was a hands-off
and
demo.
I mean, it's CD Projekt Red. We know that they're going to do good work.
Also,
Witcher 3 was unreal and just was an immense game.
Mm-hmm.
Very ambitious and paid off.
And not to go too much into it, but there's been talks that there's actually been some studio troubles as well at CD Projekt Red, so there might be a little bit
that's sad.
behind a little bit.
It happens. But I mean, I have a lot of faith in that team. They seem to do good work, and I very much look forward to a cyberpunk. A cyberpunk Witcher.
Yeah, like a cyberpunk open world, just roam around.
Because it was very narratively driven,
right?
So like it had combat and everything, and the combat was interesting,
right?
But it was still like the stories they told in a fantasy setting with Witcher was just like incredible. Like I haven't really seen that in any other game. Just the number of them, the depth of some of the stories that they were trying to tell. It was really cool.
Yeah,
and I plan to pick up Witcher 3 at some point and play it myself.
Also on sale during the Steam Summer Sale.
Yeah, it is true. Right now,
I may have foolishly bought it for $20 for both PS4 and PC at some point because I forgot I had bought it for one, so I bought it for the other one.
I see.
Oh, right.
I see. I see.
Anyhow,
yeah, Steam Summer Sale going on right now as well.
Yeah,
and there's lots of great options on there.
Do you buy the games you don't have?
Buy those games to sit on them for a while.
You got to own them all and not play them. Join us with a backlog.
Yeah.
Now, one game we saw that all we saw was a trailer. There's no release date on it just yet, but made us think of Factorio. Is Satisfactory.
Yes, and it's a what do you even call these kind of games?
First person Factorio. Oh no.
Well, what is Factorio?
Yeah, I mean,
is it a management sim? It kind of.
You would typically call it something closer to like a city builder, but it's not. It's now like a factory builder. It's
you're optimizing the
efficiency simulator
factory, but it also has like upgrades. So as you're upgrading,
it looks like there's crafting and stuff. Yeah, there's like some.
Yeah, it's very
some lighter
heavy,
crafting.
yeah.
I hope it does like with the same thing that Factorio does is you can only craft so far as a person. At Factorio, you could craft up to I think you can craft the parts for like an engine or something, but you can't build an engine yourself. You have to build the factory component that will build engines.
Yeah. And
then after that, you can't build. Basically,
which is cool.
You have to build the things that build the thing,
and it looks very much similar.
Yeah,
but it's like a full so Factorio was a top down. Like you're above it.
One dude.
You're just one dude.
No, I'm saying it was made by a dude,
which is rad.
Yeah, single person development, kind of real indie.
Very indie and cool game. Very like full featured as far as that kind of a thing goes.
Yes, like a. In fact, here's the thing: is it's been updated even since you. I know you've played.
I haven't played it for a long time.
Before there was 4.
I mean, I played it when it was still like way early access.
But there was like 4 technology styles.
Yeah,
there's
3: red, blue, and green.
And Alien.
I don't think I had that.
Okay, well, there's now. I think there's 8.
Nice.
And it just anyway. It basically.
Yeah, so and you're just managing these things, and it's very complicated. It's very complex.
So basically, the idea, you're building stuff to research, and that produces the colors of research. And so you kind of you build these cities that kind of hover around your research because Factorio is you've crashed on a planet. You need to build a rocket ship.
Oh, that's my phone. I apologize.
Yeah, geez, I can't believe so unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
But so you have to build the parts to build the rocket ship to get you off the planet. So that's so you're trying to research your tech level up to the point where you can build a rocket ship. And every time you get to another level of sophistication, so you're like, okay, you start off with, I need like copper and iron gears to research this basic level of tech. Okay, you build this whole infrastructure around just researching that, and then you're like, okay, I now need to integrate green tech into my research. Crap. And then you build one conveyor belt that leads off someplace, build a new industry.
Well, and that's what I found really charming about Factorio is like you're literally just like making these conveyor belts to like move one thing into another thing to make another thing.
Yeah.
And it's just you're doing that loop as it gets more and more complex.
Well, and it gets to the point where you have to make robot, basically not sentient, but basically sophisticated advanced robot arms. And so you have all the machines making the components that come to the final machine to make the robot arm that then drops and goes into another machine that turns that into research, and that's how you. It's
a kind of a fascinating game, and that's why we were so like kind of pumped looking at
Satisfactory because it looks like a first person.
It's like a first person, fully 3D.
If you would call it like it looked like your typical survival sim perspective.
Yes, perspective-wise, yeah, but it looked
Right.
it looked as good as No Man's Sky and had lots of conveyor belts.
And maybe it was just the music, but also seemed like it had a lot of charm going in that video.
I hope so. I mean, it was very stylized. The way like everything looked
spacesuits.
was really cool. Suits, even the way that the conveyor belts looked, I was like, okay, really, that looks smooth.
But
sleek,
it also
very
looks like
sleek.
somebody said that Factorio game looks great. I'm going to do it in first person.
Yeah, we need to do a big 3D version
And
of it.
It looks. From what I'm looking at, like what you're making looks more streamlined. It looks like it's like more.
Probably. Well, who knows? It was a trailer.
Okay, but it
Yeah.
looks designed around the concept of raw materials in, and you could just add complication to what you can do with it. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I always saw wasn't even gameplay. So
Well, no, they're a little bit, but like
yeah, maybe.
But you can build a chainsaw.
In engine stuff for sure.
You can build a chainsaw and start
Well, you
deforesting.
equip little dudes with chainsaws and they all go run out and.
Well, I thought you
was that multiplayer?
There's multiplayer. It's co-op.
Oh, okay. No, I'm on board even more.
That's
now.
why they're
I
all
wasn't
clapping
thinking about that.
That's why they're all clapping at each other.
Yes, of course.
Because
Of
multiplayer.
course they were.
We all know the symbol, the trailer symbol for multiplayer is clapping.
Is that what it is?
It has multiplayer.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I thought it was strange dances from the internet.
Well, clapping's a strange dance.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, moving right along. Joe just looks a little perplexed there.
I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
From our Nintendo Direct, which was largely disappointing because we're not Smash fans.
Oh yeah.
So we're like, so the stuff at the beginning we're like, great. It's like, and now we're going to spend 30 minutes on Smash.
We're gonna show you everyone Smash.
And we're like,
enjoy. I was
hey,
like, okay, cool. You can play as everyone.
Like the gang's all here except for me. I'm out.
Except for me.
But they showed.
Don't worry, there'll still be a trophy or what do they call them in that game? That like Bomberman is. The
Assists?
Assists? Is that what they are?
The guys that run in and do stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
You're probably in there as an assist. So
There's probably something in there called an assist. I'm willing to bet on it.
we love Smash Brothers.
Yeah, can you tell? So I guess a small studio of people who were former FromSoft guys back when they made Armored Core, which is their mecha series, and not like the big mech warrior kind of lumbering mechs, but like the light Japanese skate around, flying and doing cool ninja stuff.
Firing off 1,000 missiles.
1,000 missiles that all like swarm and spiral.
home in on your target.
Yeah, waste energy because they're spinning and they don't have to. And such good stuff. The real fancy. They showed a game. I guess FromSoft is actually working on an Armored Core. That's not important.
Oh, okay.
But this was called Demon Ex Machina,
Yes.
which is.
And it looked, I don't know, it looked super stylized, obviously.
It looked a little bit low res because Switch, but whatever.
Still cool.
Yeah.
Kind
It looked like Armored Core.
real basic color palette going on.
but
the
it
art
looked-
style was very stylistic for sure.
But also very Armored Core. If you've seen anything Armored Core, it's very Armored
yeah,
Core.
very much so. And it was cool. Like I was interested. I was like, okay, this seems really weird to like do this game.
Yeah.
But I show me what you got.
I want. Yeah,
I hope it's good.
I'll probably pick it up.
I hope it's good. I hope it's not.
Even if it's not, I'll probably pick it up.
Fair enough.
I'm a sucker for mech games.
Yeah.
I'll believe it. I'd be straight up with you. If it's got the right, there's certain kind of mechs that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna buy that. I bought the stupid 360 armored core that they're like, yeah, we try to make it more westernized, and it's like, no, it was just anime with a bad story. Like, this is not anything. Was it Armored Core that they did that for, or was it?
I never played the Armored Core stuff.
What was the other series?
I always liked the look of them, but never could get into the actual game.
I think it was actually, maybe it wasn't Armored Core. It was the other series that was like the turn-based strategy. Why can't I think of the name of it? Anyway, it pulled me in, even though I'm like, this looks like it's going to be bad. Oh, this is totally bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. I hope that Demon X Machina is good.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see.
Also, it's Demon X Machina.
That's a great title.
That's a great title.
It's a great title. It's pretty anime, but yeah, it's a great title.
And then probably to kind of wrap it up, the one thing that, again, keeping it on FromSoft, let's say, that I'm looking forward to, and I think you are as well, maybe?
To an extent.
I'm
reserving judgment. We'll see.
The Sekiro.
Yeah.
Or Sekiro, or however you say
Whatever.
It looks,
samurai game.
It opens up where it looks very... They do make you think that they're making another Tenchu game. The opening bit...
It kind of looks that
makes
way.
it looks like...
I never played Tenchu, so I don't really...
Very,
I don't have the...
Metal Gear Ninja is what Tenchu was.
Okay.
It's all about
stealth game.
Oh, very much so.
That's cool.
But also had a ridiculous thing, like you had a distraction call you could use, and it made a random sound every time you used it, and sometimes it would be like an elephant or something.
Okay.
Just something you're like, wait, what?
That's kind of weird.
It had quirk.
Because this one didn't look quirky.
No, not at all. That's what I said. It's not a Tenchu game. But it opens up looking at people are going, like, leaning in going, is this a Tenchu game? And then it goes to like full-on Dark Souls combat, and people are just like, is this like a Tenchu Souls? What am I looking at here?
Have we passed peak Dark Souls?
I mean,
are we over that as a... Are we at too much Dark Souls?
Do people ask if it's a Souls game?
I mean,
then
we describe things as a Souls game.
Yes, we do. But here's the thing: it's not battle royale levels yet.
Okay.
So I think with the Souls genre, it's gonna burn for longer because it's not burning as hot.
Definitely true.
So the idea of the Souls games are gonna be. Plus, those games are good,
and we're just seeing more and more of those elements in other games.
Like Neo is not, people call it a Souls game, but that's not fair to Neo, because or the Souls genre, because it does so much with that concept that is different. That it is a it's not just a clone.
Yeah, and I think the Soul, like describing something as a Souls game is becoming broader,
super derivative.
It's not.
And you're like, is this hard? It's like a Souls thing. No, that's not.
No, it's like I think they're applying it more toward that style of combat now.
Right.
Generally speaking.
Well, like we were talking, I've been fiddling around with Hollow Knight. And I was like, it's like a Souls game. And you're like, really? I thought it was more like this. I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. The fact that I die and it leaves a ghost where I died and I have to get back to get my stuff. It's like, oh, that part. It takes some stuff from Souls.
Take some elements there.
So that's the problem is people borrow different bits that also cast that net wider, which is... We got to stop doing that as well. We're real bad at that. Soulsifying
things. It's because it's good, and we are fans of that genre. We're fans of the genre and the game, so it's like it's an apt, and it's something we like. Like when I call something a Souls game, it usually means it's good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that looks like fun. Is this
a Souls game?
Is this a butterfly meme? Is this a Souls game?
Is this Souls?
Okay, just briefly, I saw the funniest one of those is like someone do it the meme. Is this a Stalker game? And Stalker being the set in the Russian wasteland, nuclear holocaust type thing. Everything's mutated, whatnot.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, well, anyway, but the response is the butterfly grows a hand of its own. It's like, yes, it is.
Okay.
As a response, because that's what a Stalker game was. It'd be, yes, the butterflies have hands.
I guess you had to be there.
It's, since we're memeing, might as well.
Meme's got a meme.
Look, I got to fill time somehow.
It's true. But yeah, Sekiro, I mean, it looks good. It looks like a great game. It definitely got the robot arm vibe again off of that one. Because you also have a robot arm. But like a not a Devil May Cry robot arm, but like it definitely does stuff. Like, and it's kind of like the conceit of that trailer is like hey, yeah, your arm is going to be a better tool for you than like the one you lost.
Right. So magic. It's a magic robot arm.
Is that what it's going to be? I guess so. I guess if it's an old timey ninja feudal.
If it's like
area,
a Soul Styles game and you die and keep fighting, then yes,
your arm just like resuscitates you. Like,
it drags you to safety.
It drags you back to the campfire so you can get your ember flasks back.
Right.
Yeah,
Estus
maybe. I mean,
flask,
Estus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, look, I don't.
been a while.
I try not
It's
to
been a
correct you
while.
too much.
It's been a while.
But I have to. Like, that will not stand.
That will not stand.
But also, you have like the giant ogre man that power bombs the dude.
Yeah, and that's intriguing. I
Soul-
want to see more.
Soul's boss, but with
I want
more,
to
yeah.
see more. I want to
But
see more.
Their animation team has definitely had some time to get better.
And if it's goofy, I'm even more in. Like if I can get like a goofier Souls style game, they're all so dark. It's hard to like. It's like
You could say that Dark Souls is the genre.
Yeah, you could say that. One could assume.
Yeah,
but it's also like it's kind of like I'm reaching a kind of a fatigue with that. It's like it's the same problem I have with like the Nolan Batmans. It's like it's just dark for dark's sake at some point.
Which is why I think I want to. I think that's why I want to tuck into the ease games for a little bit, because there's not that they're not completely devoid of darkness, but like they're so bright and happy and colorful. It's like, yeah, this is nice. I need a little bit of this.
Yeah, and I've been playing God of War, and it is much brighter. And we'll talk more about it, God of War, later. This is our E3 wrap up
as it becomes appropriate.
Yeah. But much brighter as well, and it's been kind of a breath of fresh air to have like a nice bright game that has some comedy, some lightness to it.
Right. See, I was looking at the Surge, which was a Souls like, but it's like you're a dude in a mech suit, and there's like this post-apocalypse thing kind of happening, or post-event, let's say.
Okay.
But it's Dark Souls and mechs, or maybe not mechs, but power suits. You know. Power armor, so you're upgrading your power armor, and that's how you do your build stuff. And it's like, yeah, but maybe brighten it up. No, brighten it up. No, it's all dark and terrible. All right, no thanks. Like not right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got my eye on you, Surge.
Steam sales up. I'm gonna find something bright. I'll play it.
I picked up Trails in the Sky,
Probably gonna get Stardew Valley and Terraria.
Which if we get, we might have to get a multiplayer thing going.
Hey, we get some fun B-roll with that.
Get some farm hijinks.
Multiplayer farm hijinks.
You wake up, it's 4:00 in the morning. You're like, why is my field on fire? And I'm laughing, just running away. You don't pay enough, boss man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still gotta finish God of War. So
yeah, you 2 trophies out.
Yes, 2 trophies away from the platinum, but they are the hardest trophies to get.
Well, I mean, that's why they're at the end. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it there because we're kind of out of E3, and we just kind of
there's plenty more E3,
but that's the stuff
this is good enough
that even remotely spoke to us. I think
good enough.
I mean, I can't remember anything else that was like, oh, that thing.
It caused me to waste many hours on Kingdom Hearts lore. That's time I'll never get back.
Well, as a person who did not waste time on Kingdom Hearts lore, then I guess it's time well spent. Whatever, you do you, man. And you out there listening, you guys do you too. You take it easy, and we'll catch you next time on the Backcast.
Pop-Tarts are ready.